Hey guys, I'm April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and today I'm working on some collaged book pages. I'm going to kind of layer them together so that I can insert them into my signatures for my travel journal. I was just flipping through these signatures. I haven't sewn them in yet, and I just felt like they were a little bland. They were missing something. So I'm going to just layer up some book pages and see if there's some different ways I can use them to inject a little bit of excitement into those signatures. So I've got several different languages here. I've got some German, I've got Russian, I have French, I have Chinese, I have Cyrillic, and some of the books I've been able to take apart so that you have the whole page. This one and the Russian, the Cyrillic and Russian, and then the rest are just individual pages. So I think I'm going to use these to my advantage. This is Cyrillic poetry. The ones that I scanned with the translation app were quite lovely. You're not really going to see most of this. I did try to kind of look and see what the content was. I've got like a nutrition book. I've got some Chinese horror stories. A lot of this is going to be covered up, so if you can read one of these languages and there's something really weird, you're not going to be able to see it later. I just wanted like a hint of these different languages coming through. So I think what I want to start off with, I'm going to start with this page here, and I'm trying to decide if I wanted to be like very systematic about it, layering some of these on. These pages are quite thin. I wanted some heft whenever I've done some thickness, some like when you touch it, like it's like, oh, that feels nice, you know? So I wasn't sure kind of exactly where to start. I've seen where people have kind of just created big boards, and that is a little bit appealing. Maybe I could just be kind of wonky and like overlap and go beyond. I don't know what that would look like. A little uncharted with this. I came in with an idea, but not an exact plan. But I know I wanted to use this hinging action, at least for this one, and kind of create a book page that can just be sewn right in. All right, so I guess less talking, more doing. So why don't I'm gonna do some tearing. You know, let's try to stay within bounds. Let's stay within the boundaries. I flipped to the messy side of my mat today so I don't mess up my surface on the other side. And I'm just using my Oohoo glue stick, and I'm gonna just try to line this up as best I can, but I'm not worried about perfect edges. If there's a little overlap or underlap or whatever, that is just fine. Let's grab, we've got all different tones of paper. Some of it's very white. The German book is, should I go over the crease? Yeah, let's go over the crease, and then we can kind of find that crease again later. We'll see how much of this lovely poetry is left. We're done layering. And then I'm gonna, you're not going to be able to read it. I'm going to add some, let's tear like this. I definitely want to add some paint or something like that to this. I did grab some white and off-white paint. And I was wondering if I could just kind of do like a whitewash, mix it with a little water and brush it on, and that's really pretty. I like how this is coming out. Kind of brush that on and use the other part of the French up here. I am just kind of trying to meet corner to corner and use the straight edges to my advantage. And I guess let's use the other part of this Chinese. I mean, why mess with a good thing? I've got some stuff going on here. And all of a sudden I decide to glue the back instead of, oh, there's some of the binding is still on that. All right. I think I missed the corner on this. All right. That is one side. I think I'd like to do the same thing to the other side. That'll bring that kind of thickness that I'm looking for. I am going to give this a moment for this glue to dry, and then I'll flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. So I've got both sides of this one done, and I think I'm going to put this one in just like this after I'm finished with it. I like kind of like the patchwork of languages. It's a lot of fun. This is still drying a little bit, so I'm going to put it to the side. And I want to do another one, but I wanted it to be smaller. But let me flip through. I seem to recall, and I'm not sure which signature it is in. There's an envelope. There's at least one envelope in here with a flap. Oops. With a flap. Here we go. Has a little flap that needs something built on it. And I'm wondering if I can use this to kind of build up the other side, maybe even overlap so that it kind of shows through on this back and like seals up where I opened this envelope to get my mail, and now there's kind of a weird gap here. Let's see, what if I start with, tear this one, not like that. I want a rough edge, but let's see. Kind of like that. And I can always build out further. All right. Starting a scrap pile so that when I'm ready to make some clusters or something like that, I will be good to go. And I'm gonna glue. Try not to glue this pocket shut. I could probably pop it back open later without any trouble with my bone folder or something like that. And I'm just gonna lay this right there like that. And now let's grab something for the other side. Let's see, maybe have it come over like that. I'm not inking this project, I don't think much at all today. I just want to kind of enjoy the collage process, laying things down, seeing where it goes without. Now, if you wanted all these little edges to pop a whole bunch, then ink is definitely your friend here. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. So now I've got, where's our crease at? It's in here somewhere. There we go. Start of something wonderful. How about, let's find a little of this here, like that. I'm not sure. I think I'll trim this with my paper trimmer to make it kind of even at the bottom before moving on. And let's do on the other side. I definitely want to break it up a little bit because I have no idea, again, the content of this story. I have a little bit of a dictionary page here. I'm gonna bring that text. Let's do that almost to the top there. Get rid of some of that white space. Oops. And what else? Maybe use this piece here. This was a nutrition book in Cyrillic, and I kind of like all the numbers and charts in it. It's a little bit of a different thing to catch your eye. All right, I'm gonna let this dry. Get some glue under that little torn piece of paper. I'll let it dry, and then I'll use my paper trimmer to trim that up. So there is a second, and I've got 3 signatures, and when I do things like this, I like to try and kind of do one for each signature. So we've got this envelope, got a straight up page. Let me see what else I can come up with. So I decided not to overcomplicate things, and I just made another page using these smaller German papers as a base. They're already folded. I might even trim that down a little more just to make it a different size from the first one. But I feel like we have a lot going on here already today, so there's no reason to get all crazy and start crafting all kinds of crazy things. Let's stay on task. I'm going to kind of trim up this a little bit. I do want it, I could leave it kind of raggedy, but I like the clean lines, so I think I'm gonna go, because this is even here, I'd like it to be even all the way across. I know that's just a nitpicky thing, but that's just me. So, paper trimmer out of the way. This all feels pretty dry. I have a little lifting. I'm gonna put some paint on here, so I'm not too worried about that at all. I am going to glue this down here just a little bit, since that's going to be on the other side. Could always run some ribbon or something down there if it's lifting up later on. All right, glue stick out of the way. Let's start with this one. And I've got unbleached titanium, which is an off-white, and then titanium white, which is white. And I'm going to try to get some of each of these. These are older bottles of paint. They're a little bit, they need used. So here we are, we're using them. My paint box is entirely full of just all kinds of crazy paints. There we go, there's a little bit of each. And I think I'm just going to use my finger and, oh, that's very thick. I don't even know if that's a little bit crazy. I don't know. It's still good. It's spreading around. It's just really thick, and I'm kind of okay with that for this project. So let's kind of blend some of that white with the off-white. My goal is kind of a neutral paper so that I can either decorate on top of it or even write on top of it. I guess that would be possible if it's neutral enough, if enough of this is covered up, and then a nice black pen would kind of do the trick on that, though I'm not sure if that would be fun to do, writing on a painted surface. So let's grab some more over here. Just kind of make sure I've got a nice distribution and I've hit a lot of these edges. I'm gonna do some stenciling as well. This is definitely starting to feel a little bit like my masterboard project that I did previously. So there you can get kind of a good look at that. I'll set that to the side. Let's grab the envelope. And my third page is drying a little bit. I'll have to see if the glue is dry before. See, on this one, I could definitely see like an image or something like that in the center of this, or a cluster. So I would like to have kind of a background where this text is just peeking through. Dab some of that white in there. All right, and a third one. That seems to have dried. The glue stick, I love the glue stick. It dries pretty quickly. And we're just gonna do the same thing on this one. And then I'm gonna flip these over and repeat this on the other side. All right, I've got paint on the front and the back of all of these. It is mostly dry. There are some areas that are still a little tacky. I tried to use the hair dryer on it, but I'm just going to forge ahead and see what happens. I do see that there's a very thick area here. My paint was very, very thick, so it might take it quite some time to dry. I'll just blot it with paper towel. There we go. For the most part, I think we're good. All right. So this journal has lots of browns and blues in it, lots of maps and things like that. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of stenciling. And I've got a combination of Salty Ocean, Distress Ink, and Vintage Photo. And hopefully I'm not about to mess my daubers up, but I've got extras, so if I get paint on them, that's just fine. And I've just got a couple stencils here. Lots of pretty florals and damask kind of patterns. I do like this border here. So I thought I would add a little bit of stenciling in. Let me get on camera here. I've got my blue. I think I'm gonna try the blue first, and let's just see how that looks. I don't want it to be too strong, but I do want it to be able to stand up on its own with all the paint and the... I want you to be able to see the pattern. So let's see how this comes out. I say I don't want it to be too strong, and as I go, it gets bluer and bluer and bluer. All right, let's go back here, add in a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that's really cute. Let's on the other side. I'm gonna flip it over and do the same thing, but I think on the bottom of the page. Down here. I think the reason I was so unhappy with how my signatures were looking is that it just felt too clean and sterile. I've got a lot of printables in there. I do have coffee dyed paper, and I'm trying to branch out a little and add a lot more junk into my journals. I do love printables. I do love bright colors. I like vintage, but I like it as an accent and not as much of a main star. A little bit of paint on my stencil there. There you go. And then a little bit of paint on the table too. You can see there's a little bit of wet paint on here. I'm gonna set this to the side. That looks nice. Grab this one. Now I've got some warping. You can see how all the glue and the paint and everything has caused warping on this. I'm gonna run an iron over it before I do anything else. I'm gonna let it dry really, really well, and then iron these pages so that they are nice and flat to go in my journal. Let's go with some flowers, but I'm gonna go on a jaunty little angle this time. Put my blue away. This goes in here. And I'll get vintage photo back out. I'm just covered in paints and ink and all kinds of things. Let's get some florals here. Now, if I do want to use these pages for journaling, I could maybe add a panel on top or like a journaling space on top of this and just kind of use it as a backer paper. I think that might look really nice. I don't think I'm gonna know exactly what I'm doing with this until I get to that point. Let's go and do the same thing down here. And I'm trying to decide, I have some trims over here, and I was trying to decide how far I'm gonna go with this today before it goes into the journal. Make sure I got all of those. That's pretty. Flip it over. I'd like it to be a little different on the back, but the floral looks really similar. I guess there's this kind of border pattern. Could do blue on this side. I should grab another handle. I have another dauber handle somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it is. We'll just keep swapping back and forth. Let's do blue on this side. A little crooked. There's this thin border. I got these stencils on Amazon. If I can find the link, I will link them down below. I do like them. They have some nice big patterns. They can cover a lot of real estate, and there was a lot of really pretty designs in there. The other pack that I bought at the same time was a little more geometric. I like that. That just looks great with all of this. All right. Put this to the side. Somewhere where I'm not worried it's gonna get paint on my table. I have a nice table underneath this mat, and I really don't wanna Mess that up. All right, so this is there's a window in the envelope, and I'm going to use that to kind of put a card in. It's going to look really cute. But that leaves me with this whole other panel. But I might go ahead and see where I want my stencil to go. We just stencil the whole thing. Where's that other? There we go. I'm gonna overlap. Try to make it kind of symmetrical. There we go. Do the blue. It's going to be very bright on that white envelope. And let's do the same thing on this edge. Flip it over. And let's go back to the brown. I kind of like the flip-flopping of the colors just to kind of make some variation. And I'm going to use the same stencil, but I'm going to kind of do a corner ornament. See how that comes out. I'll do the other corner. I'll go right off of there onto the front. Let's see if we can bring some of that in here. I'm going to try not to get ink on the window portion of the envelope. It would probably clean off. But if I don't have to do that, I won't do it. Oh, that's really cute. I like that. And I think that's it for these pages. I'm definitely going to do a little more to them. I have some trims and things that I can add on. I've sewn a few little ruffles, that kind of a thing. But I'm going to wait and put these in my journal. I want them to be really, really dry before they go in so they don't stick to the other pages. Then I'll add ribbons, trims, reaching across here, maybe some stickers or fussy cuts or something like that. It just depends on what I want to do with those pages when I get to them. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so that you can see more videos in this series in the future, and I will see you in the next video.